Alright, new video, lost free trades, quite unfortunate, but it's part of the journey. Still motivated, still disciplined, and I don't know, I don't care what's gonna happen next few weeks, next few months, if I'm gonna keep on doing this, which I will, and I'm gonna keep on losing, even next year in April, if I'm still in loss, as long as I show up every day, then I can never see that day as an actual loss because I tried. But of course, I also have to learn from my mistakes, obviously. Today I'm gonna break down two of the free trades that I lost and explain why I took them. And that's it for the intro. Let's jump in. Alright, first trade, EURUSD New York session. I was looking for a short trade that day because basically we were in an uptrend, which doesn't even make sense, to be honest, what I just said. But I just thought we took out that liquidity right here, and it's basically so far away. It was 1st of July, but on the 4-hour chart it was an important zone of liquidity. So we basically broke that liquidity, and from there on I just patiently waited for a good setup that I could get. And actually we jump right into the setup. So on the 3-minute chart, which I basically use always for breakout structure or for value gaps, we saw that we had a prominent breakout structure right here. I'm just gonna mark that red. And then we had our fair value gap right here, and then price dipped into the fair value gap in a 1-minute chart. You can see it better. And yes, as soon as we basically saw a negative reaction, I entered the trade, but I think I entered it early. I entered it right here. Yes, so I should have entered right there. Would have still lost, but entered too early. Took the stop loss above, took the take profit, I think, all the way down here. And now I'm gonna show you guys how this trade worked out. Second trade, EURUSD, as always. We were heading into a very important order block zone. So as you guys can see, I marked this order block zone. This is basically when the trend shifted. Didn't really shift, but when we broke down, really. So what market usually does is it comes back to the order block zone to fill more short orders. So I was waiting patiently for the market to enter that zone, and eventually we also did enter the zone. So now I was just waiting for a good setup, and gonna go a bit forward right here. Basically came higher again, came high right to the top, to the edge of the order block zone. And right here I was basically waiting for the setup. So what I did here was I marked out a very stupid order block on a lower time frame, because this was also a basic beginner mistake. Like I was basically just waiting for the market to, create a setup. But if market doesn't give you any setups, then you actually have to wait, even if it takes hours, even if you have 3 or 4 days without any trades. But I was just searching a setup, and that was my mistake on that day. So I basically marked out this order block right here. So essentially the last move up before we broke down, but it wasn't actually the last move up. It's, as you guys can see, it's not a clear chart pattern. But yeah, then I was just waiting for price to dip into that zone again. And as soon as it happened, it didn't even really dip in. But here I took my short order, took the stop loss above the order block, and I think it was a 1-2 all the way down here, 1 to 1.5. And yeah, I'm happy that I lost this trade. Alright, video done. If you guys are kind of surprised why chart was moving so quick in the last trade, it is basically because we had an FOMC meeting, and yeah, this is what happens if important news come out. So but I think the trade was already closed when news came out. Yeah, that's it with the video. Of course, I mean, it's part of the process, and I would be a heavy liar if I would just tell to all of you guys that it's not bothering if I lose 4 or 3 trades in a row. It actually is, and after I lose those trades, I'm also down when it comes to my mood. But yeah, that's basically the process, and over the next few months I have to get used to losing. So you know, it's pretty easy for me to just stand here in front of my MacBook and just tell that you have to treat a loss the same way you have to treat a win, but I can't practice it yet, right? So I get very mad. I have to learn to actually control it, because psychology is 90% of the game, knowledge maybe 10%. But yeah, keep showing up every day, no matter what you're doing right now. Keep on doing it. Thanks for the support and have a blessed day.